Hey guys, Mr. Winchell here. Wish I could see you guys. Wish we were back in school, but we're going to try this for it now. So this is my first video. I'm going to try to walk you guys through how to do some of these mole to mass problems. Okay, so come over here. So this is the assignment for this week. If you look on the top, you can see there's a guided work through for how to convert from moles to grams, and over here how to convert between grams and moles. It shows you the basic setup for each type of problem. So first, in part one, we're going to do from mass to moles, which is grams to moles. Grams are the units for mass. Okay, so the way you set these up is you start with the number that they give you, and you put in the first block. So 25 grams sodium. Okay, now, the key is whatever unit is on the top left automatically has to go down to the bottom right, because these two units have to cancel out. The unit that I'm trying to solve for, which in the problem is the number of moles, goes in the top right corner. That's the block that we're looking to solve for. Okay, so now I have these two spots where the numbers are going to go. And if you look up here at my walkthrough, the mole is always just going to be a 1 in these problems. 1 mole. Okay, the gram is where I'm going to put my molar mass. Now, how do I get my molar mass? I pull up my periodic table. Now, all you got to do is find sodium, and you see right here it says 22.99. I'm going to take that number, and I'm going to put it right here, 22.99. Okay, that's my basic setup. Now all I have to do is I just have to pull up my calculator, which I'm going to use my phone for, and I do 25 divided by 22.99. Now, you might be asking, what about that 1 right there? Whenever you have a 1 in a problem, you either multiply or divide, it's useless. It gives you the same answer. So I'm just going to do 25 divided by 22.99, and I get 1.09. I'll round up that 87. Okay, and then my unit is whatever's left, which is right here, moles sodium. Okay, so that was a simple problem. Let's do one more of those. It's a little bit more complicated. Okay, so this next one, again, same thing. I start out with 125 grams of H2SO4, which is sulfuric acid. Again, I take my unit that I started with, and I put it in the bottom right block, and the unit I'm solving for, which again is moles, into the top right block. Once again, the mole is always just going to be a 1. Now I'm just left down here with my grams of sulfuric acid. How do I get this? Which again is the molar mass. Now this one's a little bit different because this is a compound. To find the molar mass here, I have to do a little bit of math. I'm going to do it in just this block right here just because I don't have much room on here. I'm just trying to show you guys how to do this. So I have 2 hydrogens. So I find hydrogen, it's 1.0079, and I'm going to multiply it by 2. Okay, then I have 1 sulfur, so I put plus. I find sulfur, which is 32.07, plus I have 4 oxygens. So I'd find oxygen on here, 15.99, and I multiply it by 4 because I have 4 of them. Okay, so now I have to do a math problem before I do my actual final problem. So I'm going to plug all this into my calculator. So 1.0079 times 2. I recommend you guys use parentheses. I'm not doing it just for sake of time. Plus 32.07 plus 15.99 times 4. And I get my molar mass. So that number I am going to plug right here, 98.0, and I'll just round it up to a 5. Okay, so now I have my whole problem set up. My units here cancel out. Now I just plug the whole thing in my calculator. So I do 125 divided by 98.05. Okay, and I get my final answer, which is 1.27 moles of H2SO4. Okay, now I want to do one more problem for you. On the back is the opposite, which is where we convert from moles to mass. So the problem's the same exact thing, except it's just basically opposite. So I start with the number and unit they've given me, 2.5 moles of copper. I take the unit I started with, and I move it to the bottom right block, moles of copper. Okay, now what am I trying to solve for here is grams of copper. Okay, so again, I have these 2 blocks, which I need to put a number for. Mole, again, is 1, and I'm left with grams. Where do I get that from? Periodic table. I find copper, which is 63.5. Then, lastly, I just plug this into my calculator. Okay, so now this time both numbers are on the top. They're on the numerator. So all I have to do is I'm going to take my calculator, I'm going to multiply them. 2.5 times 63.55, and I get my answer, which is 158.875. And then my unit, again, whatever's on top and bottom cancel out, and I'm left with grams of copper. Okay, the rest of the problems on the back are just like that first one, and the rest of the problems on the front are like the first two that I did. If you guys have any questions, please let me know.